Hi guys! The complex is northwest of the town of Sinaia, which is 48 kilometers 30 miles from Brasov and 124 kilometers 77 miles from Bucharest. In the southeastern Carpathian Mountains, the complex is composed of three monuments: Pele's Castle, Pele Castle, and the Foiser Hunting Lodge. When King Carol I of Romania, 1839 to 1914, under whose reign the country gained its independence, first visited the site of the future castle in 1866, he fell in love with the magnificent mountain scenery. In 1872, the crown purchased 5 square kilometers, 1.9 square miles, of land near the Piatra Arsa River. The estate was named the Royal Estate of Sinaia. The king commissioned the construction of a royal hunting preserve and summer retreat on the property, and the foundation was laid for Pele's Castle on 22 August 1873. Several auxiliary buildings were built simultaneously with the castle: the guards' chambers, the economat building, the Foiser Hunting Lodge, the royal stables, and a power plant. Pele's became the world's first castle fully powered by locally produced electricity. The first 3 design plans submitted for Pele's were copies of other palaces in Western Europe, and King Carol I rejected them all as lacking originality and being too costly. German architect Johannes Schultz won the project by presenting a more original plan, something that appealed to the king's taste: a grand palatial alpine castle combining different features of classic European styles, mostly following Italian elegance and German aesthetics along Renaissance lines. Works were also led by architect Karol Beneš. 2 later additions were made between 1893 and 1914 by the Czech architect Karel Lyman, who designed the towers, including the main central tower, which is 66 meters, 217 feet in height. The Sipot building, which served as Lyman's headquarters during the construction, was built later on. Lyman would supervise the building of the nearby Pele Castle, 1889 to 1903. The future residence of King Ferdinand I and Queen Marie of Romania, as well as of King Ferdinand's villa in the Royal Sheepfold Meadow. King Carol I and Queen Elizabeth lived in Foiser Villa during construction, as King Ferdinand and Queen Marie had during the construction of Pele Castle. The cost of the work on the castle undertaken between 1875 and 1914 was estimated to be 16 million Romanian lei in gold, approximately $120 million today. Between 300 and 400 men worked on the construction. Queen Elizabeth of the Romanians, during the construction phase, wrote in her journal, "Italians were masons, Romanians were building terraces, the Gypsies were coolies. Albanians and Greeks worked in stone, Germans and Hungarians were carpenters. Turks were burning brick. Engineers were polish and the stone carvers were sheck. The Frenchmen were drawing. The Englishmen were measuring, and so it was then when you could see hundreds of national costumes and 14 languages in which they spoke, sang, cursed and quarreled in all dialects and tones, a joyful mix of men, horses, cart oxen, and domestic buffaloes." Construction saw a slight slowdown during the Romanian War of Independence against the Ottoman Empire in 1877 to 78, but soon afterwards the plans grew in size and construction was quite rapid. Pele's Castle had its official royal ball of inauguration on 7 October 1883. King Carol I was born at the castle in 1893, giving meaning to the phrase "cradle of the dynasty, cradle of the nation" that Carol I bestowed upon Pele's Castle. Carol I lived in Foiser Villa for periods during his reign. Princess Maria died there in 1874. After King Michael I's forced abdication in 1947, the communist regime seized all royal property, including the Pele's estate. The castle was opened as a tourist attraction for a short time. It also served as a recreation and resting place for Romanian cultural personalities. The castle was declared a museum in 1953. Nicolae Ceausescu closed the entire estate between 1975 and 1990, during the last years of the communist regime. The area was declared a state protocol interest area, and the only persons permitted on the property were maintenance and military personnel. Statues in the courtyard with the Carpathians in background. Ceausescu did not like the castle very much and rarely visited. In the 1980s, some of the timber was infested with Serpula lacrians. After the December 1989 revolution, Pele's and Palazzo Castle were re-established as heritage sites and opened to the public. Today, Foyser Castle serves as a presidential residence. The Economat building and the Guards Chambers building are now hotels and restaurants. Some of the other buildings on the Pele's estate were converted to tourist villas, and some are now state protocol buildings. In 2006, the Romanian government announced the restitution of the castle to former monarch Michael I. Negotiations soon began between the former king and the government of Romania, and were concluded in 2007. The castle is on lease from the royal family to the Romanian state. Pele's castle receives between 250,000 and almost 500,000 visitors annually. Throughout its history, the castle hosted some important personalities, from royalty and politicians to artists. One of the most memorable visits was that of Kaiser Franz Joseph I of Austria-Hungary on 2 October 1896, who later wrote in a letter, "The royal castle, amongst other monuments, surrounded by extremely pretty landscape with gardens built on terraces, all at the edge of dense forests. The castle itself is very impressive through the riches it has accumulated, old and new canvases, old furniture, weapons, all sort of curios, everything placed with good taste. We took a long hike in the mountains. Afterwards, we picnicked on the green grass, surrounded by the gypsy music. We took many pictures, and the atmosphere was extremely pleasant." Artists like George Enescu, Sarah Bernhardt, Jacques Thebaud, and Vasil Alexandri visited often as guests of Queen Elizabeth of Romania, herself a writer also known under the pen name of Carmen Silva. In more recent times, many foreign dignitaries such as Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Muammar al-Gaddafi, and Yasser Arafat were welcomed at the castle. All round, the building's facades are animated by elegant drawings. The interior of the castle is a true wonder, due to the beauty and richness of the sculpted wood and the stained glass windows. As you get in the vestibule, you are on the honor staircase, in front of the most important rulers of old Romania, Holy Stephen the Great and Michael the Brave. In a proud attitude, wearing whether a fur cap or with the gold crown on their heads, they impress through the brilliant dressing, in which the white of ermine blends with the emerald green or the red of the large mantle. Thanks for watching.